So yesterday I dropped this make automation on my LinkedIn and got quite an incredible response, much more than I thought I would get. And lots of people have asked me exactly how I did it, and other people have asked me for the actual JSON file. So I've now mentioned that I would do a more detailed video. So here it is. This video is going to cover how I built this make automation and how you can build it too. This is specifically the automation that I'm generating here and how I did that. It is not going to be the details of how to create each one of these different connections. So within this make automation, you're going to need an API call to Perplexity and to ChatGPT. And you're also going to need an Airtable account if you wanted to do this exact automation. You don't have to do it this exact same way. You can, not use any of these tools that you want, and you can also use Google Sheets instead of Airtable. Whatever it is that you want to do, generally got the right idea. And then this is a webhook. Reason I've used a webhook is because we use Fluent Forms on our website, and Fluent Forms doesn't have a make automation, but you can connect it through a webhook. So that's what I've done. So in this video, I'm going to very quickly, or as quickly as possible, go through how I created this make automation. I'm going to do it in one take. So there's probably going to be the odds and sods in here that aren't quite right, but hopefully you get a lot from it. Any questions, let me know. If you want me to do a video and break down how to do each individual element, then again, you can pop a comment in and let me know as well. So diving straight into it. Here is the webhook that I have set up, and essentially all you need to do for this one, when you go to create a webhook, you just create a new connection, click webhook, custom webhook. Let's cancel that, shall we? Let's delete that. Getting a little bit, there we go. Webhooks, custom webhook. So that's the one that you need to select. Now I'm going to delete that because I don't need that. So create custom webhook, and then when you do that, it's going to give you this web address. Copy the web address, go over to Fluent Forms. This is the form that we're creating. Collect. Let's just save that because I believe I made some edits. Settings and integrations, and then essentially you're going to come down to the webhook option here, and this is what you'll see when you click create new webhook. Call it whatever you want. Add in the request URL here, click post, and then choose JSON, right? And then that's going to send the information to your make automation. Then what will happen is it will come up. You can run a quick test. When you run a test and send the information through your form, it will pop up and it will show you each of the pieces of information that have been pulled through, right? So these are the user inputs that we've got there. And on our form, I've kept it nice and simple. So when I go through to the editor, you'll see that essentially all I'm asking on this particular instance, because we want to keep it nice and easy, the goal is, if you're out and about or you see something or you have a content idea that you want to elaborate on, then essentially you whip out your phone, you tap this into the form that you have on your website. This is a personal use thing, and then it will generate you some content ideas. And essentially you have the choice of either an idea that you've come up with or a link to a piece of content. So if you see a piece of content that you like, that resonates, that has information on it you feel your audience is going to find valuable, then you can pop that link in there, and then it will send it through and then create the content for you. Content type, the reason that I've gone for that is if you're looking at sort of 6 months to a year down the line, if you know what different types of content that you're producing and you can categorize that, when you add in the amount of engagement you get from each one of those posts later down the line, you'll actually be able to determine what types of content get you the best content. So this is going to be, it's going to be really valuable for you in the long run, right? So rather than kind of thinking of right here, right now, you're thinking, right, how can I get value out of this in the long run? By doing that, you can at a later date determine what's the best content, what gets you the best engagement. And then image, yes or no. So if you click yes, you want an image, then it will go through and it will create an image for you. Again, I'm going to do this all in one take as best I can. So apologies if there's any errors or whatever else. We'll just get through it together. So then from that point, essentially what we need to do is we need to say, if there's a link, go one way. If there's no link, go the other way, right? So that's how we're going to do that. So you do that by creating a filter. So on this bit here, we've labeled this one link, and then we've added it in there. So where you've got the user inputs, you've got URL. There's nothing in that one at the moment because the most recent submission didn't have a URL in it. It's always going to be one or the other. You add that in there, and then you just click exists, right? So if that exists, it's going to go up. If it does not exist, you want it to come down here. So the condition is going to be user inputs, and that's going to be the text. So this is when you come up with an ID yourself. It exists, and then you're going to say content idea, and then that means that links go up here, content ideas go down there, right? And then what we want is to connect Perplexity, because Perplexity is going to do a search for you, create a chat completion, right? So this essentially is going to go through, use Perplexity, search online, and then come back to you with a response, right? So I generally tend to use the large model. I seem to get better responses with the large model, and obviously, you can do more with the large model in terms of sending it more information, so on and so forth. With this particular situation, we don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need an extensive prompt like you do with some of the other tools that you're using in order to get the response that we're looking for. We just need to basically say to it, here's a bit of content, or here's a link. Can you please search the link, bullet points, some information? That's all we're getting it to do. Then we're going to say the role is the user because we're sending it the information, and the content is going to be that basic prompt, right? And I've copied that prompt into here. So if we scroll down, just to make it easier for us and for myself, this is with the link, and essentially we're just saying to it, and we're spelling things wrong, it would appear. We're just saying, research this piece of content, summarize the key points for an AI agency and we're just going to say, just for an AI agency. And then it's so they can decide what information, right? We're going to come down to this one. So this is with the link. So whenever there's a link, we're going to say, research this piece of content and summarize the key points for an AI agency so that they can decide what information to use on a social media post. It is essential that you use only the information from the content in your response, do a search on the information we provide, and then give us the links to any additional research that you do. So that means that when it goes off, if it does any additional research, it's going to bring back sources of information for you. And then I've done this because sometimes it can give you an extensive response. Keep your answer short and to the point. We just need a bulleted list from your research and the links to any additional information. No more than 500 words. Please list only 5 primary bits of information from this article. We want to keep it short because I found that it was giving far too much information. I'm just going to correct a couple of these badly spelled words from speed typing, and then we're just going to copy and paste that into the make scenario that we're doing there, right? Bosh. And because we've got that there, you can see it's automatically done it, right? That's it. That's the prompt for that one. Okay, we're going to click OK, that's fine. Well, let's do max tokens. Let's call it 500, right? So we're going to click OK. That one's done. Let's give it a quick run because it's always good to test it out. I might not test every single one of these steps because it's quite a long workflow, but essentially this is one with the link. So we're going to skip this one and let's find a piece of content, using AI to generate content. Easy peasy, right? So let's just scroll down here, 6 applications. We're going to copy this link. This is a great piece of content. Woohoo, we found a great piece of content. Let's bang that in. Tap the content in there. Content type is going to be tips. Okay. Image. No, we don't want an image. So we're just going to go away with it. Off it goes. That's going to come through in here. It's going to test out the scenario. As you can see, bosh, it's gone through to Perplexity there. And you can see the Perplexity has come with the response there. Let's just make sure that it's not a terrible response. Right, message, content. Here are the key points from the article. Great, right? Additional research links, right? So if there were any other links, it would pop them in there. So these are the key points. Great. So now we've got key points from the article, and essentially that allows us to go through to the next step. Next step for us is going to be 3 OpenAI, one for each social media platform. So essentially we want to create one for each social media platform, but we don't want to do that straight away. The first thing I would suggest doing is testing it out. So if you do create a completion, and essentially that is going to be going to GPT, you want to choose a model. I'm just going to go for 4.0. That tends to get a good response. And choose one of the social media platforms that you want to go for. Because in this particular instance, we're going to do one for Facebook, one for LinkedIn, and one for Instagram. Right? And then the role is going to be user, same as before. And then the message content is going to be the one, the prompt that we're doing. But just before I add any of that in, these are the settings that I'm going to want for the rest of them. So I want to try and make sure that it's well optimized. I'm just going to chuck 600 in here so that we don't get stuck. You can reduce that. So we are going to want 3 of those. So I'm just going to pop those here for when we're ready, right? So that those settings are done and I don't have to go through that step again. So this is going to be for Facebook. And essentially what we're going to need to do, come up with a prompt for that, right? So this is the prompts that we're using for Facebook. So we scroll up here. This is the Facebook one. So in order to generate this prompt nice and quickly, what I would suggest doing is actually using ChatGPT or one of the applications like that. I've come into here and I would just say, this is the prompt template. Please write one that I can use to train an AI, and then I've attached our brand guidelines. Okay. And then that's going to create you a prompt here that you can just copy and paste in, right? And then it's going to have the markdown on that one there. So you can just do that, copy and paste it, nice and easy. Obviously, edit it and make sure that it's on point for what you're looking for, change it, make sure that all of your content is going to be in your tone of voice, etc., etc. Again, this is a very basic version of what you can do. You can create an assistant which is much more detailed, but this is a nice quick way to start generating content easily. So the message content is going to be that one there, and essentially we just need to paste in the prompt that we've got, which is the Facebook one. So I'm just going to get rid of that now. We don't need it anymore. This is the Facebook prompt. We're going to click there. So we've got our notes. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to copy that, go to make, and I'm going to paste that in. We don't need that, but this is your Facebook prompt. Then what you need to do is just basically tell it, right, this is the information that I want you to do. So I'm just going to take that from our other scenario, which I've got here. So then what you're going to do is you're just basically going to add in at the bottom so that you can link to the response here, because that's where it's going to, that's the information it's going to take. On this instance, we're just basically saying, please take the information and shape a social media post that will be appealing to the AI guy's audience based on the above prompt. So there you go. Please take this information. So I've given it that information there. Great. So it's done that. That's going to create a social media post specifically for Facebook. So it's just in here, you'll see that it says use Facebook best practices, etc., etc. So we now know that that's all connected. Let's run it again very, very quickly and just make sure. Oh, accidentally pressed that twice. Test form. Quickly test this out. And then we're going to skip this one. We're going to tap in the same link because we don't need to do loads of different ones. We don't want an image, so we're just going to click go. That's going to come through and it's going to run through the automation and it will give us the response there. While I'm waiting for that to connect, one of the things I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pop myself in here and I'm just going to quickly whip a link through here a load of times. The reason that I'm doing that is just because that way it will always have some data available. I'm going to click yes on an image there because that's going to be the one that we'll use to test the image. I'm just going to refresh this, and then by doing that, hopefully it will speed this process up a little bit for us, or for me, because the data will be there. So click yes for an image there. All right, great. So there's like 3 or 4 of those in there. Let's go back and see if this has come through. So it's still waiting for the data. Sometimes these can be a bit slow, which is exactly why I've just gone through and popped a load of links in here, because now it should hopefully keep that information stored so that when I click test, it will automatically come through. So I'm just going to pause it again now. And then once that's done, I will unpause it. Right, back on. That took a lot longer than I thought it would, to be totally honest. So I'm glad that I've chucked it through a load of responses through. Fingers crossed that speeds things up. I'm all about being as quick as possible with stuff like this. You may notice that I talk on 2 times speed, so you might want to do this video on 50% speed. But basically, that's gone through, right? So you can see that it's gone through here. There was a link, so it's gone up here. Perplexity's done its research. Chuck the research over to this one. This is the Facebook one. Boom. So we can see here the message here has come out, right? So that's our one. So bundle, result, give that the result, boom. Sure, I'd be happy to create a Facebook post based on the provided information, blah, 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 blah. Right? So it's created a Facebook post there. It's giving you some other stuff in here, image suggestion and so on and so forth. If you don't want any of that stuff, all you need to do is go back to the prompt and just basically say at the bottom of it, please don't give me XYZ, or please make sure only provide me with the social media post caption, nothing else, please. Cool. So once you do that, it should only provide you with the social media caption, right, in theory. So it's going to take a bit of testing out, like this is for you to do, to sort of test out the different prompts that work and that don't want. If you want to restrict it slightly, you can change the temperature, which means its creativity is dropped down a little bit. To be honest, I often do 0.8 because that just gives it that little nice touch that doesn't just let it run away with itself. We now know that the Facebook one works. It generates us a social media post that we're happy with. So we're going to unlink that, Bosh, happy days. Then we need our router. So we're going to pop in a router here, flow control, router, bosh, bosh, bosh. Right, we've got these. We actually don't need these ones. Delete. Now, when you connect to a router, the thing to remember is it will go through every single one of those potential routes one at a time based on which one you connected first. And of course, if there's any filters, it will then do or not do whatever it is that you want. So I'm going to connect up the Facebook one here. So we've got ChatGPT. Let's rename that so that things don't get confusing. Always worth doing. We're just going to rename that to Facebook. Cool, happy days. And then I'm going to connect this one up, right? And we're going to rename this one to rename. Let's do LinkedIn. And then we're going to do this one, which will be rename Instagram. So we can call it Insta, right? So we've got all of those. Let's tidy this up a little bit. Bosh, love that button. So if you recall, I copied over this element before we added in the prompt. Now all we need to do is add in the relevant prompt to each one of these, right? Because it's already there. The time that I've saved there is good, right? So if you were doing a big one, then you're going to save yourself loads of time when you copy that over. So the message content is going to be the template, the prompt that we've got here. So that's Facebook. This is LinkedIn, right? And then this is Instagram. So we just want to copy the LinkedIn prompt. And again, you would just do the same thing to get your LinkedIn prompt. We're going to copy that, go back over to this one. I'm going to go into LinkedIn and we're going to paste that in there. Happy days. And then at the end, we're just going to click OK there for a sec. At the end, we're just going to copy the end of the prompt that we've got on this one. Yeah, because it will be exactly the same. Right, so we're going to chuck that in there. That's the end of the prompt. Happy days. You see, please take blah, 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 blah. Good, happy days. So we've got that in there. And then we're going to do the same for this one. Easy peasy. User, message content, template. I'm going to scroll down to here, get to the bottom of this one, and we're going to scroll up and paste that in. Right, so we're going to take that. This is Instagram, and we're going to paste that one into here. Happy days. And then if you recall, oh, actually, I'm going to do that because it's a bit tidier. If you recall, we've already copied over the other one. I use something called Flycut to do this, by the way. So if you do copy and paste lots of stuff, Flycut is an absolute winner on Mac. If you're on PC, you can just activate clipboard. And then it means that anything that you've copied recently will be saved to your clipboard and you can sort of do it. So if you don't do that and you're doing lots of copy and pasting, that's probably going to be the biggest impact of this video, is making sure that you download Flycut for Mac or activate clipboard for PC. Game changer. So we pop those in there, click OK. Now we've got those three here, right? So we know that they're going to work. I'm pretty confident they're going to work. I'm not going to test every single one of these scenarios. But then essentially the next step that we're going to do, and I'm just going to double check to make sure that I'm getting everything right, is we want to add a title to the post. Now, the reason I want to add a title to the post is when you add it into your Airtable or whatever else it is, it's just nice to have that there, right? So post title is going to be the primary column, the first column there. Just makes it a little bit tidier. That's just how I work. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do it. I've just found that that's a nice, neat and tidy way to do it. So easy peasy, OpenAI, and we're going to create a completion. And then similarly, probably should have copied it one more time. Model, and then we actually, to be fair, we can use 3.5 for this because it doesn't need to be complicated. You're literally just saying to it, I need you to create me a title. So if we scroll down there, bosh, there we go. Create a concise title for the social media post. Happy days. Right, and we're just going to pop that in there. Nice. The social media post is going to be this one. So this is Facebook. Choices, message. You don't have to do it this way, but I just want to make absolutely certain I'm getting the right one in there. Create a concise title for the social media post. Happy days. So it's just done that. So now that's going to create, and let's just do 100 tokens. We don't need to, actually, in case the post is a little bit long. So we're just going to do that. And then that essentially is going to create a title for it. Happy days. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to do a router. So we're doing a router because we want to determine, do they want an image? Do they not want an image? Easy peasy, right? And again, exactly as we did before, each one of these, you're just going to create a filter label. So image, and then the condition is, if we scroll down here, and then we've got the checkboxes there, that one there, right, exists. So this one is for an image. So if the checkbox has been ticked, it's going to come up this way. Okay. Now we're going to click on this one and we're going to see the same thing. So, but this is no image, right? Condition, scroll right down. checkbox, tick the number 1 there. Does not exist. So if it doesn't exist, it's going to go down here. If it does exist, it's going to go up there. Then on this one, we're going to create an image. On this one, we're just going to go to Airtable. But in order to determine what social media platform it is going to, because you can filter that out, and it's important that you've got that because we're going to have the platform here. In order to determine that, we need to add that in. So the easiest way to do that is just to choose a tool. You can see that's already here, so it's built in. And then you're going to set a variable. The variable name is going to be platform, right? And then this one's Facebook. So we're going to call it Facebook, right? And it's one cycle. So that means that when this comes through here, because this is Facebook, it's also going to add in another variable that you can use in here, right? So that's going to filter out for you. And then down here, this is essentially going to be going straight to Airtable, but because we haven't got the thing in there, we need to set the variable here as well. Same thing, platform, and then we're going to say Facebook, right? So I didn't copy and paste that one over because I'm going to need a different platform for each one of these. Platform, one cycle, Facebook, happy days. Next step for this one is going to be Airtable. As I mentioned before, you need to have an Airtable one set up or an Airtable account set up, or you can use Google Sheets, whatever you want. And essentially we're going to create a record. So that's going to be one of the things that we do next, right? So I'm going to get to that in just a second. But first I'm going to go to this one and we're going to choose OpenAI and we're going to do create a completion. Now we want to create an image, but we also need to make sure that the prompt is going to be good quality. And the easiest way to do that, especially if we're doing an automation, is just to get it to write the prompt for us. Easy peasy. So you're just going to say your user, you're going to go back to the prompt library. And again, you can tweak this and make it a bit better, however you want to do it. But I've just said, you're an expert prompt engineer, specifically for image prompts. Please create an image prompt for this social media post. Easily done. Yeah. Which will be for Facebook. Ensure that ensure that people, there we go. Let's remove that. Ensure that no people are ever in the image and no text or numbers are in the image, right? And the reason I've done that, not sure why not was on the end of it. The reason I've done that is because often the thing that is done badly in most situations is people and text or any content like that. It's going to come up and it might look a little bit wonky. If you wanted to create an image, I would generally avoid that. So there's the message content, easy peasy. And then we just need to delete this because that was for the other side of it. And essentially for this social media post, we're going to go through to Facebook. So this is the social media post. Again, choices, message, content. Just going to make sure that we're using the right one there. You're an expert prompt engineer. Specifically for image prompts, please create an image prompt for this social media post, right? Okay, cool, happy days. So tokens, let's just do it at 400. Remember that this is going to be the most expensive one. So image prompting and image creation through GPT is going to be the most expensive thing. So if you've got a connection, these things, it will charge you every time you use it. It doesn't cost very much at all if you use 3.5. 4.0 is still quite cheap. In terms of scalability, you would probably want to use 3.5 if this is going to be a scenario that you run a lot, because the cost could potentially increase significantly. So just bear that in mind, right? So that's the message there. You're an expert prompt engineer specifically for image prompts. Please create an image prompt for the social media post. Cool, happy days. Going to click OK on that one. And then all we need to do, OpenAI, message an assistant, create an image, that one there. And we're going to do DALL-E 3. I mean, if you do DALL-E 2, again, it's a little bit cheaper, but we're going to go for DALL-E 3 on this one. And all we need to do is, I know that that's going to be there, so I'm just going to choose this one. Bosh, that's it. We don't need to do anything else because it's going to create the prompt and that's going to go in there. Then we obviously need this to go into Airtable. So I'm going to need to add a new connection to Airtable. Let's just quickly do that now. Connection type, Airtable authentication. So we're just going to say test for video because that's what this is. That's going to open us up, take us to Airtable. I'm going to add a base in and I'm going to do AI guys examples, grant access, because these are all different examples. We've got quite a few. And then again, that's all connected now. So I can select the base, the buttery biscuit base. When it finally comes up, AI guys examples. So that's the base that we're looking for. And then the table that I need is social media posts from examples, because that's the one that I've just set up for this particular instance. That's going to take a little minute. And then you've got all of the different sections here, right? So I'm just going to redo that. delete the previous bit. But basically what you then do when you've connected up your Airtable, you're going to go to this particular section, post title. We know that the post title is going to be down here, so that's just after Facebook, choices, message, content, happy days, post caption. We know that that's the Facebook one. Again, this is a bit of a longer way to do it, but I always do it just to be safe. Research output, I think it's important to have this because then you can see the research that Perplexity's done, and if there's any useful links in there, then you can obviously dive in and you might find more content ideas. It's always going to be quite handy. Platform, that's what we added in here because we want to be able to determine what platform it's for. And then post type, as mentioned before, this is going to be valuable to you in the long run if you want to find out which ones give you the best one there. So that's in the drop down there. And then in terms of the image, to add the image, it will automatically pull it for you. So the image created here, tap the URL in there. You can give it a file name if you want. So you might want to give it the file name, which is like the title of the post, or just leave it blank and it will just automatically name it based on the automation. So that's all gone through. I'm going to click OK, and then Airtable here, I'm just going to connect that to the right one. So I'm going to click down. As you can see, got lots on there. Test for the video, base, the buttery biscuit base, our guys examples, table, social media post from example. And then we're going to do the same thing. So essentially the post title is going to be the one after here. So that's there, message, content, and then the post caption is going to be Facebook one here, choices, message, content, there. Oh, it's weird. Didn't click it. Post media we're not doing on this one, so the research output's in the same place. So choices, message, content, there we go. Platform, we know that that's that one. And then post type, scroll right down, and then you've got the user inputs here and post type there. Cool. Again, you know, as you saw, it is available up here. That's just kind of what I've gotten used to. So that's that. So that's done. Click OK. Now you've got the first part of the prompt basically completed, right? So we've got this coming up here. Let's run a quick test. Hopefully, yeah, there you go. Look, use existing data. So now that's going to run through. It's going to go through each one of these. Hopefully it's going to work without any errors. If we do encounter any errors, then we'll go back and we'll rectify that. But you can see it's gone through here. It's added that bit in there. It's now going for the image prompt. That's going to come through here. That's going to generate as an image, which is probably going to take us the longest period of time, and then go into the Airtable. So I'm just going to pause it just in case it's going to take a minute. Right, so we're back into it now, and we can see that it's gone through that whole scenario. We can see that it generated an image prompt. We can see what this is the image prompt. We can make this smaller if we want, but that's given it a nice amount of detail, to generate the prompt. That's done that here, and then it's gone through to the Airtable. So let's see, moment of truth. And has it filled in on the Airtable? Oh, there it is. There we go. I was like, oh no, it's not worked, but it's worked. All good. So you can see that this is the social media post. That's the caption. That's the image that we've generated here. Again, you can specify the size of the image and all the rest of it can be done as well. And then this is the research output. So this is what Perplexity came up with. And then the platform and the post type news. So that's all filled in. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can set up an automation so that when you tick it, it automatically posts. But again, that's not what this one is for. This is for the content ideation. So now you can see that that is done. This down here will work as well. That's automatically going to go into that Airtable. I'm going to show you one of my favorite parts about Make, and that is that we can copy and paste that whole string and we can connect it here, right? So obviously there'll be slight variations because we're going to click there. When you click onto here, this one is going to be different. So just remember to come in here, create a concise title for the post, but we're going to be doing it for a different post, right? So you can see here we now need to go for LinkedIn. So we're going to go into choices and we're going to go message, content, right? So that is for the LinkedIn post, right? So we're going to click OK, and then we just need to press this button so it's nice and aligned. And then we need to go into here and just amend that as well, because you can see that that is coming from one that doesn't exist in this particular string. Choices, message, content. We know that's where it's going to be. So that's going to go there, and we're going to click OK on that. So that's been adapted. And then this one, again, we're just going to make sure post caption, that's going to be the LinkedIn one here, choices, message, content. Cool. So that's the post caption. Those are the ones that we just need to go through and change, right? And then same here. So that's that. And actually, if you want to make this even quicker, where we've got post caption, where are we? That one there. You can actually just copy paste that over, so it'll be even quicker. So you just go into here, paste, happy days, right? So you've got that one there, and we know that that is going to work one after the other, and we can copy and paste that over again. Let's see if I've still got it. Nope, because I did that, didn't I? So let's have a look. That's all of those. Control C and B. Move that down here. Connect that up there. Leaving it out there. Look at that, looking smart, right? Bosh. Now we need to do the same thing again. So that's correct. Oh, that's why. Silly me. I copy and pasted too much. As you can see there, let's get rid of that. I actually only needed from here. Whoops. Let's try again. So we're going to do that there. And we're going to connect that. And we're going to align it. Happy days. So that's all done there. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change this one. And that is going to be from the Facebook one, Instagram one, content, Insta, wicked. So now I can actually just copy that, click OK, go through to the next one, choices, content. There we go. Make sure that I've done that right because I think I may have selected, yep. Done the wrong one here. LinkedIn, choices, message, content. Right, there we go. So I actually just realised that I did that wrong. So I'm just going to go back a step. I'm rushing and just make sure that that is not number 23. It is in fact the LinkedIn one. Choices, message, content. The reason I know that that was a mistake that I'd made is when I pasted it over, it was still showing me that it was available, which means it would have been from one of the ones further down. So it should not have been there. 40. Wait, what? $3.5. Here we go. LinkedIn, choices, message, content. Yeah, cool. That's all good. Let's just make sure that that's all correct. 8. Make sure that that's 8. Yeah, that's fine. And then that's obviously coming from there. This one is 9. Cool. That one is 9 choices. That one is 40, which again is not right. We need 9, which is that one. So we just paste that in. So you can see that I've added all of those in there. Again, this one, post caption, again, done. Post title, I've chosen the wrong one. Caption is Instagram, choices, message, content. So there's that one. Whoops. So that's Instagram. And then this one, we're going to go for post caption again. Just make sure that we're pulling it from the right place. LinkedIn, choices, message, content, happy days. So that's that one there. Yeah, so that should all be working. It's giving me a bit of a dodgy signal here. I click OK, yeah, that's fine. This one's giving me a dodgy little logo. So you can see if it's got that little black icon there, something's not quite right. Post title, post caption. Let's just get rid of that because that's wrong. I've done the same one there. Caption's going to be in here. So I'm just going to do that there. So 8, we can see that's 8. So make sure that this is 8, that, 8 choices, 8 choices, cool. So it's all going through to the right place. Cool. It's all pulling over the right stuff. You're an expert prompt engineer. Happy days. So that looks like it's all going well. This one here we know is wrong. So we need that to be number 9. And then there we go. So that is done. Cool. So that looks like it works and it should go through to each one of those. Make sure it's aligned. Let's test it out, shall we? Use existing data. And that should run through, hopefully pretty quickly. See that it's on Perplexity. I'm just going to pause this and then I'll come back on once it's gone through. Right, so we're back in the room and you can see that it has gone through each one of these. You know that it has because it's got the little button there that you can click, see the results. So that's each one of the posts for each one of the platforms. There, happy days. And then if you want to perfect those a little bit, you can just tweak the prompts. You know, if there's specific hashtags you always want to use, you can throw those in there. If you don't want to use hashtags, let it know. For LinkedIn, if you only want to use 3, let it know. It'll go through and do all of those things there. So there's more training that you can do, and you can also create an assistant, which is going to be much more tailored to what you want. That's generally what we would do when we were building this for a client, is we would create custom assistants, but this is the easiest way to do it and generate some pretty good responses. So you can see that it's gone through. 1, 2, 3. Let's check, shall we? Moment of truth. Happy days. 1, 2, 3. Right? And they've all got an image. You can go in here and test it out. If you're using this with somebody else or you're collaborating, you can actually come in here and then have conversations about this specific post or change or tweak or whatever it is that you want to do. Then it can go to the social media platform that you want it to go to. Right? So it's got that there. All of the information's there. Happy days. Now, we obviously have the rest of it to do. And as I showed you before, one of my favorite things about Make is this. I can copy and paste that whole thing, which is just fantastic. I'm going to delete that. And now, oh, whoops, what did I just do there? We're going to connect, probably easier to zoom in a little bit, wouldn't it? We're just going to connect this one here to that one there. We're going to click this magic button there, and that's going to be auto-aligned. Now, because it's a copy of it and it's going down a different direction, this will essentially be set correctly. So it means that all of these that you go into will be requesting information from the correct previous element, right? The only thing that we need to go in and do is we need to change this prompt, because this one is going from the URL. We don't want that. We want this one to be from the content ID that gets created. So this is no link. We're going to copy that and we're going to paste that in here. Right. And then we're going to just delete this and make sure that we're choosing the right bit. So user inputs, and it's going to be input text. Happy days. Right. So that's fine. And the prompt on this one: research this content idea and share any up-to-date information on companies mentioned or topics specifically relevant that an AI agency would find valuable to share on social media. It's essential that you use only information from the content idea in your response. Do a search on the information we provide and then give us links to any correlating information. Keep your answers short and to the point. We just need a bulleted list from your research and the links you find to any information. No more than 500 words, and keep to 5 bullets and add the links below. Easy peasy. Done. There you go. So that's your prompt. That's your make scenario. Easy peasy. We're going to run it. We're going to use existing data. I can't remember if it's going to be that one. Okay, yes, it's going up that one. I'm going to stop that. Let's run it again. Okay, cool. So now it's got fresh data. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in, but I'm going to do it from a content idea, which is going to be create amazing content. Cool. Link to content, we don't need that. Content type is going to be tips, just an example. Image, nope, don't want an image. And hopefully off it goes. We'll see how quickly that one comes through, but that one is going to go down rather than up. So we'll see that come through in just a sec. I'm going to pause the video until we see it. So back in the room now, and we can see that the most recent run went through here. So you can see that we've gone through here and it's used a content idea to generate it. It's gone through each one of those phases and then it's added it to Airtable on the bottom one. So rather than going up here, it's gone down here. And then if we go through to Airtable, you can see that there were 3 more social media post ideas without images. And if you open it up, you can have a look at the actual content that's been produced there as well. So you've got those in there as well. If you want to remove those quotation marks, that is something that we can do, because it does get that a lot. I would just very quickly go through to the prompt and just say to it, where have we got? So let's go to the prompt, draft lines with that's all of that. Only provide me with the social media post caption, nothing else, no quotation marks, please. Happy days. So now, obviously, you need to go through and do that on all of the prompts, but that should stop it from adding the quotation marks, which can be a bit of a pain in the bum. There you have it. That is how to create this make scenario. I know that I've run through it quite quickly. Hopefully, it all tracks and that's all good. If there are any questions, you can let me know. If you do want any specific information, like how to create the API on ChatGPT and how to create it on Perplexity, again, I can do a shorter video for those. This was just requested by the people that commented, and everybody's kind of asked how I've done this, so I wanted to share that information fairly quickly after I've done that post, just to strike while the iron's hot. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've learned a lot. We're going to be releasing a few more videos like this as we go. So if there's anything specific, or if you have an idea for an automation, or if you have kind of an idea for a tool that we can develop, if it's a good enough idea, I'll develop it and I'll release it. So just let me know. Wicked.